This week we are back with one of our first co-hosts, Miss Robin Levy. How are you today?
I'm doing fine, and thank you for having me back on the show.
It's a pleasure. It's a pleasure. We have some unfinished business.
We sure do. Let's get to it.
We were talking about project management last time. We were going over some of those critical issues that small businesses have when they're first starting out, or when they first get that procurement contract, or whenever they're trying to figure out ways to scale. And we were trying to figure out, we were trying to communicate how these small businesses can take advantage of project management. I want you to elaborate on that a little bit further.
Yes, good evening, everyone. My first time on the show, we were talking about the value of project management and why everyone would need a project manager. I am Robin Levy, and I'm the CEO of REL Project Management Services, which is a woman-owned small business, and we provide solutions for infrastructure, application, and software development projects. And the value of a project manager is that they're professionally trained to really understand what the customer needs, what makes them tick, what are their strategic objectives, how can they improve their processes in their day-to-day activities. And we went through very high level some of the project life cycles, which are how do you start a project, plan, execute, monitor, control. And today we'd like to take it to the next level and talk about the value of project management and how small businesses can get a competitive advantage by using these processes.
With the value of project management, how do I calculate that into my bottom line?
Well, project management value can be offered to any business, whether it's a large or small business, profit or nonprofit. And what you really want to find out is it really doesn't take a large investment to establish a project management system for your organization. What we do is we actually come in and meet with the customer and find out what they do, how they do their business, what areas of improvement are they looking for. And so you actually really interview the owner, the staff, any stakeholders that are working within the company so you can get a better idea of what's going on. And then I would develop what's called a statement of work, which is the first rules of engagement. It actually defines what the scope of the project is, the requirements, the time frame for the project, what the schedule looks like, how much the budget is that the customer will have to actually put on a project, and find out if they have a need for a specific product or service. So these are all the things that we would do, review it together, and then get their buy-in and acceptance of the actual statement of work.
Now, you said something there in terms of all the different interviews you go through and all the processes you're going through in terms of to develop that statement of work. So myself as an entrepreneur, and I have this grand idea, and I've received capital, or I have the startup resources, what can I count on you to do so that I don't have to hire somebody unnecessarily so I can save my money?
Sure. There's certain project management processes that we would actually use, which consist of client relationships and building relationships with your client, a communications plan, risk management and mitigation, and then very high-level performance reporting to see how your business is doing, where the areas of improvement need to be, and what's your bottom line. You know, how can you gain a larger target market? So this is called discovery, and I would interview your staff, your suppliers, your vendors, all the people that you interface with now on a daily basis, and find out what we can do to improve areas within your organization. Maybe expand your target market, get new products or services, but it all comes to what you do today, and that's my job as a project management professional. Find out what you do, how you do it, and how I can exceed your expectations by delivering these processes for you. It's really your first visibility into the customer's place. And what it has is what sets you apart from other customers. Why should I hire you? What do you do that's better? It contains your core competencies, your references, any certifications you might have, how long you've been in business, and just key facts. And it's really a selling tool. It should be a one-page document, and it's really your Bible. You need to post it on your website, any of your social media. And that's what sells you. That's the first look that customers have into what you're capable of doing. It's really a sales tip, basically.
So in terms of feasibility, financial feasibility, how easy is that for you to sit down with somebody and produce that document, especially if they're in the startup phase and they don't have a big budget?
Very easy. There's a lot of vendors out there that will charge you a lot of money for it, but it's very easy to do. I can take your basic resume, really listen to you about what your business functions are, how you do your business today. If you have any references from past customers with any accolades they've given you, all that's key information that can be put at a very high level on the capability statement. As far as your tax ID, if you're registered through the government, your DUNS number, all of that type of key information needs to be included. But it's a sales tip, and I can help you do that, and it can be done very quickly and very reasonable also.
How do you guys quantify that into value? Because again, you only know what you know, and that's usually an issue, especially with certain entrepreneurs. So how do you guys translate that?
Well, for me, from a project management perspective, you have to keep your communication lines open and provide effective and timely information to your stakeholders so that they can make informed decisions, because things will change throughout the project life cycle, whether you're building something, expanding something, or process improvement. And you also have to be cognizant of the different people that you work with. We live in a diverse world, lots of different cultures, and it's great to build your network and try to understand that. I mean, with the social media tools today, you can go out on Facebook or LinkedIn. You know, you might have a hobby that's similar to them, or your kids might go to the same school or church, but if you can say, hey, you know, my kid goes to this school, or, you know, we go to this church, or we both like to travel to, you know, Maui, that builds a relationship and trust with your customer, and they're more likely to, you know, communicate with you on a more frequent basis. But establishing that, how you're going to communicate, whether it's face-to-face, through Skype, like I said, there's so many tools nowadays, especially on your phone with Google Docs, Google Phone. There's no excuse, you know. Everybody gets emails, but emails, you know, they might not get read. So you can use all your social media feeds, your Instagram, your LinkedIn, and just push the information out there, and people will really receive that very well and respond to you in a timely fashion. So it's effective, and it also lets you know when there's changes in scope. Your customer might have a change, as well as the team members that you're working with. You know, they can let you know if there's any deviation in your schedule or the actual goal that we're trying to accomplish. So communication is key. Understanding diverse cultures is key, and communicating and sharing that is very vital, no matter what business you're in.
I want to kind of pivot over to Robin and using project management. What are the importance of having systems so that you can scale your business? And then let's talk about some of those mitigating factors.
Sure. All business owners will eventually have some type of unplanned event or occurrence, which is a risk, and risk can be positive or negative. Positive risks you can turn into opportunities, and negative risks you want to eliminate it so it doesn't have a major impact to your business. And with a risk mitigation strategy, we will identify what the risk is, how it's impacting your project, and how you can mitigate it, whether you're going to avoid the risk, eliminate the risk altogether, or maybe transfer it to a third party, which would be like an insurance company. So these are all plans that we would develop and discuss. And what they do is they impact whether it's the scope, your schedule, or the cost, or the quality of your project. And then we have what's called quantitative and qualitative risk management. Qualitative is looking at each individual risk, while quantitative looks at the entire project scope and the impact to whether it's the cost, the schedule, or the actual timeline. So there's measurements. They're usually measured 25, 50, 75%, 100, but all that I would put into a report and actually look at the metrics, and you could see it on a graphical level. How is this risk affecting your bottom line? You know, is there an area for improvement? And as far as positive risks, you can turn those into opportunities, such as how are we doing our business today? Am I meeting all of my customers' requirements? Do I need to expand to a larger target market? You know, are we doing things efficiently? Are your processes lean? Is there some areas where I could cut some extra steps out to make it more efficient? Can I automate my processes? So these are things you need to think about. And then innovation, as I said, there's a lot of technology, a lot of apps out there you can download on your phone. A lot of them are free to do things more efficiency, more cost effective.
Hey, wait, did you say free?
Some apps are free,
So
yes.
Let's back up. One, try to give us a scenario. You throw out a lot of high-level terms and concepts that our seasoned entrepreneurs would understand. How would you explain that to our audience that they're a startup entrepreneur?
Sure. I've got a good example.
All right.
We just recently went through Hurricane Harvey, and a lot of people are rebuilding their businesses. And let's say you need drywall. to build it out. And if you have a vendor, they might have a supply that you need, but they can't get it delivered to you in time. And that's going to impact your bottom line because it's going to make your schedule slip. So you would have to find a way to get around that and avoid that schedule slippage. So what I would do was try to find another vendor that had the drywall that I needed, find out how far he is away from me within proximity to Houston, and see what his rates are to charge me to deliver the actual drywall here. So that's how I'm avoiding the actual risk. I found another supplier that has the materials that I need, and I can get it here on time. Now, of course, it's going to cost me more money, but what I'm going to do is transfer that cost of getting the other vendor to deliver it to my insurance policy, because most people do have FEMA. So what I did was three things. I avoided the risk, and I transferred the risk to another third party so that my installers will have the drywall material that they need, and they continue to rebuild their actual business. So that's just an example on how I would mitigate that risk.
Wow.
That's a good one.
Yeah, it's in simple terms, and it's something that we all can relate to because everybody's really going through that now.
Well, I'll say everybody can relate to, but not
Yeah.
everybody knows how to do it, and that's what we
Right,
need to
right.
call Robin.
That's right.
So what about some of those free apps? And I wanted to hear about some other free tools that you guys have that we can advertise to our listeners. Any of those free apps that you can come up with that we can recommend for people listening?
A lot of them are on your mobile phone. Google Docs is free. It's a repository where you can use Word docs, Excel, create your document, upload it to the actual Google Docs, and you can share it with everybody within your organization instead of sending it and attaching it to an email. You provide your team the link, and they can go out there and access it when they need it. So that's free. Google Phone, if you don't want to give out your primary phone number, it transfers everything over to a Google phone number. Now, there's so many different tools that are out there. Skype, you can use the basic plan. If you want to do face-to-face conferences with your team members or your vendors or your suppliers without having to travel. Now, if you want there's other things that you can get that you would have to pay for, but the basic package of Skype is free. So there's a lot of tools that are out there, and I can help you, research some of those, but you need to take advantage of that,
Absolutely.
And that can save you the bottom line.
Hey, we're talking about startup in a box now. I'm going to share the wealth, guys. Let's elaborate now further in terms of how you set up your clients to make sure that they are prepared for the risk mitigation.
I use what's called a contingency plan within my budgeting. All clients have a certain budget that's allocated. Once I actually do the level of effort estimates that says this is the work that you want done, but this is how much it's really going to cost, because they can use their staff, but I might have to bring in consultants or vendors or suppliers, so the cost could go up. But I usually build a 10% contingency into the budget, and also have to get that approved with the customer through formal change control processes. But you have to plan, and that's part of the interviewing, working not with just the business owner, but the people within their organization that actually do the work, the day-to-day work. They know what's going on. They know how the business is run. So all of us work together as a team in order to find that out, and then we create the plan, and it's really a work in progress. You have to constantly monitor it throughout the project life cycle, and it's going to change. There's going to be some fluctuation in it, but you update it accordingly, and the key thing is communicate what has changed from last week. What are you going to do to mitigate it this week? How is it impacting my bottom line? So it's a constant evolving and revisiting this. You just don't do it and it's done. It doesn't work like that.
Wow, yeah.
The contingency plan is for the budget, but a change in scope has to go through formal change control. And how is it affecting? Is it affecting the business? Is it affecting the location of the business, the technology, the application, the data? So these 6 areas, I call them the 6 domains of scope, all have to be evaluated and find out what the impact is, and then communicate that with your customer and make the adjustments to the schedule accordingly.
Wow. See, I'm pretty sure if you're like me, you didn't know all this was taking place. Like, what do you do after the project's done to ensure their success?
Well, we have what's called a post-implementation review to find out and make sure that everything that was in the statement of work that was approved by the customer has been successfully completed. What does success look like to the customer? If it's a product or service, is it working? Has it been tested? Does the staff need to be trained on it? Is there documentation for me to hand over for them to sustain their business when I roll off the project? And one of the things that we do is we conduct what's called a lessons learned, and we talk about what worked well on the project, areas that didn't work well, and what areas are improvement, and we create an action plan based upon that feedback from the customer and agree on the dates or when you're going to get this done. So even though the project has been completed, there's still some things that need to be tied up with regard to the post-implementation review. And it's really a great exercise to get feedback from the entire team, because some people are vocal and other people aren't. So I really enjoy doing that because it brings out the best of all the team members and everybody can contribute to it. We make the time to have a sit down, either a focus group, spread ideas throughout the team and try to find out, how did you feel about working on this project? Did you learn from it? Is it going to help you in your day-to-day activities? Is it going to make your operations more efficient? So these are all positive feedback that we get from the team, and that's incorporated into, say, their operating procedures, and they'll know what to do moving forward. So it's very beneficial to communicate to all team members because everybody adds value to the communication process, and you can also use that on future projects as well. Yes, what I'd like to say is that we covered a lot of information today with regard to the value of project management and how it can be applied to any business, whether profit or nonprofit. And you might not have a need for that now, but I do offer a free consultation so we could talk and find out, what type of operations you have in your current environment. Are you looking to make some changes? So you can give me a call at 281-798-1182 or check me out on my website, which is relprojectmanagementservices.com, and log into the booking tab and book your free consultation so we can just discuss how I can help you with your business to succeed.